What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Jack's Abbey Craft Lagers, and they are out of Framingham, Massachusetts, and this is their Coffee House Lager. So this is a Helles lager with a coffee. It comes in at 5.2% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, and this can is just over 6 months old. So really excited about this beer because I've heard really good things about it over the past about 4 or 5 months, I'd say. Now, this is an exclusive at Wegmans grocery stores, and if you're in the northeastern part of the U.S., so we'll say like New England region, Mid-Atlantic, even down a little bit to the south there, now getting into the Carolinas, you know about Wegmans. It's my favorite grocery store. Fantastic place. So they are brewing this one with Pilsner and Vienna malt, but then also Wegmans Donut Shop Coffee Blend. This is a single decoction. It says, we infused our house lager with Wegmans Donut Shop Blend coffee to give your favorite lager a buzz. Drink Coffee House from morning to night, naturally carbonated. So I wanted to try this one again for the last 4 or 5 months, but I could not find a single of it, and I didn't want to buy an entire 4-pack. 90% of the beers that I drink are the ones you see reviewed. Like, I very rarely just drink, buy 4-packs and 6-packs nowadays to just keep in my fridge. So I didn't want to buy an entire 4-pack. Finally found a single. It is just over 6 months old. So I'm hoping the coffee held up, but we will see. And here's the thing. I never had their house lager. I talked about it before. I need to try their house lager. I don't think I've had it, but pretty sure I haven't had it. So this is basically their house lager with Wegmans coffee added. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I just hope the coffee has held up. So we'll give it a pour here. Try to generate a decent head here. A little bit more of a pour. Man, I can smell the coffee. For sure. Wow, that's nice. I like that. I can smell the coffee. Like, you can definitely smell coffee. Anyway, yeah, that has a kind of a, haze to it. Could be condensation, could be chill haze, but I can see my hand through the other side, although it is a bit murky. Same thing, you'll be able to see the shadow of my hand. I don't know if you'll be able to make it out. Hold up to light. Yeah, it has a nice clarity to it for sure. It's just a little bit haze. Maybe it's from the coffee added, whatever the case may be. 3 fingers of this bright white, fluffy looking head. Looks beautiful. The color of the beer itself is this nice like golden yellow color. Plays the role for a Helles. If you told me this was a Helles, sure. It is what it is. Decent carbonation. I see a little bit of bubble streaming up, but I think for a Helles lager with coffee, that plays the role. Anyway, let's get a nose. Yeah. So one of my favorite styles, and I think it's very underrated, that's not like a real style, but is coffee cream ales. I love when breweries take a cream ale, whether it's a regular, like 5% cream ale or a huge imperial cream ale, and add coffee. Some places will throw vanilla and maybe chocolate and just give you that nice kind of like morning coffee, but with like alcohol in it type of vibe. And there's something about it. And I think this is what I'm smelling right here. A nice like medium roasted kind of coffee. It smells fresh. It doesn't have the green pepper, so it doesn't smell like it's on its way out. But then a beautiful complex breadiness that I get with Helles. Just really nice breading, almost like a nice sourdough bread. It's almost like you have a piece of sourdough bread, like a toasted sourdough bread that you're eating in the morning with a cup of coffee. That's kind of what I'm getting in the nose. Little touch of like a citrus, or even like a very faint like dark berry. And sometimes with coffee, I know, you can get like fruity notes and whatnot. Maybe that's coming from the coffee. Maybe it's coming from one of the ingredients of the beer itself. And then there's this nice kind of floral grassiness from the hops. Again, just over 6 months old. It smells like what I would assume this beer would smell like fresh. Although fresh, I think probably coffee is a little bit more intense. The vibrancy to the beer as a whole is probably more in your face. But it smells pretty fucking good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone, or should I say prost? See, I enjoy this because, and again, fresher, it may have been different. But to me, this is a Helles lager accentuated by a coffee note or like a nice coffee character, as opposed to just like a coffee bomb with hints of a Helles. The soul of this one, the main characteristic of this one is the Helles lager, but then you get that kind of coffee roast hovering over the entire thing. And that's based off the first sip. We'll see if it changes as I continue to drink on it. Buying this one's a bit thinner than I would have thought. This is like higher side of light, lower side of medium. I like to see my Helles more in like the close to medium, so just a bit thin, not like super thin or anything, but a bit thin. The mouth feels beautiful. It's crisp, it's clean. While it's quite effervescent, has a nice crispy kind of nature to it. It is very smooth and almost somewhat creamy on the palate. The taste, it's a really nice Helles lager with a blast of coffee that's omnipresent but not overwhelming. So right up front, complex breadiness, sourdough bread, even a bit of like a crackery vibe. It dives underneath the palate. Then the coffee starts sneaking in. Again, it's a blanket that's riding along top of the Helles. And it's almost like a light to medium roasted coffee. Again, I'm getting a little bit of this dark berry vibe. There's some citrus notes here, a touch of lemon, maybe even a little bit of an orange. And then halfway through the palate, I get like a kiss of like an orchard fruit, more of like a pear, like a white pear. Then the finish, that floral grassiness I get in the nose, really helps balance this one out. This one finishes mild to moderately bitter with a firm dryness. 5.2%, you really can't tell. Yeah, I dig this one. Quite a bit, actually. And I am super impressed that this beer is over 6 months old. The coffee hasn't changed into, some kind of green pepper astringency that, not a lot of people enjoy. Like, I like green peppers, but when I get beers with green pepper from coffee, something about it is not for me at all. And I don't like green peppers in beer at all. But then again, you look at like pepper beers as a whole, I enjoy them. But green pepper just doesn't bring any heat. It just says it has that like earthy kind of vegetal pepper characteristic. That's not happening here. And I'm really impressed by that because this is over 6 months old. It's a lighter, it's a Helles. This isn't like a big imperial stout. So it's hard. I'm fucking struggling to talk. It's hard to hide that character in something like this if it's starting to turn, and it's not. So this is way better than I thought it would be based on the age of this one. It's really nice. Now I need to try their house lager because it's a very nice, it's a lovely Helles lager, but again, it's a bit older, so I don't know what it is like, fresh, how it tastes, but I'm just happy that this held up. Like, I'm super ecstatic that this has actually held up quite well. So coffee house lager from Jack's Abbey. I'm going to give this a low 4.25 and go 4.2. This is really nice. And again, it's in that vein of like a coffee cream ale where it's just a lower ABV, easy drinking, lager of some sort, or cream ale's an ale, but kind of drinks like a lager. But then you get that nice accentuation by the coffee. And this is a beer that like I could drink quite a few of. The bitterness is not overwhelming, and the coffee character just really adds to the Helles space. So I enjoy this one. Price point, availability. Again, Wegmans, that's where it's sold. So availability, Wegmans. I don't know if they're going to rebrew it. I don't know if they've done a bunch of batches, but earlier this year they released it. It's a Wegmans exclusive as far as I know. I could be wrong, so please correct me if I'm wrong out there if you've seen this outside of Wegmans. Pretty sure it's a collaboration with Wegmans, sold at Wegmans. But if not, you've seen this outside of Wegmans, maybe they have it at the brewery, who knows? But that's where you can get it. And at my Wegmans, it was $13.99 a 4-pack. However, probably because of the age, it was on sale for $2 off. It was $11.99 a 4-pack, but it was also in the mixed 6 area. So I did buy a single of it. That mixed 6-pack was $12.99 or whatever. So I paid just over $2 for that can. I'm totally fine with that. Much better deal than buying it as a 4-pack. But then again, if it's $11.99 for, I would buy this, put this way, for $11.99 a 4-pack, I'd easily buy this again. For $14 4-pack, if it was fresh, I'd probably buy it again. So not a bad value. So if you had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this one. How does this compare to the house lager, which I've never had? Is it a nice take on the house lager? Is the house lager better? What did you think about this one? Have you drank this one fresh, or did you drink it a bit aged? Because again, if you gave me this blind and I was drinking, I'd be like, yeah, that's like I would probably call this a coffee cream ale, just thinking like that's what a lot of places do. And I enjoy it. I can't tell you that this is significantly aged. I just can't. And I think that is a kudos to Jack's Abbey and maybe Wegmans Coffee. I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to shut this one down. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Like I said, 5.2%. You really can't tell. If anything, yeah, I could drink a handful of these and I'd be fucked up pretty quickly. But yeah, I don't think this would weigh on the palate. I really don't. So anyway, we shut it down to the next one. Cheers. Prost.